and welcome back to Bite Size Analytics. My name is Adam Caddo, and today we are looking at how we can customize our forecasts. So here I already have a forecast set up. You can see here, if I open my visualizations pane, I have a line graph that has a forecast. So if I go into the further analysis section on my visualizations pane, I can open up the forecast and I can start editing some of these options. Some of these actually affect the forecast itself. Some of these have just affect the kind of the cosmetic side of the forecast. So, starting with the first window here, the options pane, the first thing I can change is the units. Now, this actually determines essentially in what kind of chunks our forecast occurs. So, for example, I can set it to years and say, off our data, I want you to forecast over the next 10 years. If I hit apply, we're going to see, obviously, all of our data in the left gets really, really squashed. Our forecast now goes for 10 years. Now, that is going to be very, very inaccurate, or at least not confidently accurate, because we've only got about a year's worth of data in this data set. So, realistically, I'm going to pick something a bit more, a little bit more short term, about months, set it to 6, hit apply. And then we can see a much smaller prediction happening here based off our data. Now, I could also, if I wish to, ignore a section of the last sort of series of data I have. So as I've set the units to months, this figure is in months. Now, this might be if your data for the last couple of days or months or weeks, whatever your unit is, might not be complete yet, or it might have some anomalies in there that you don't really want to be considered in the prediction. So you can, for example, if the last 2 months weren't actually worth kind of including in the prediction, you could put them in there. Now, seasonality is much more interesting, because seasonality allows the prediction to spot for certain trends over a period of time. Now, the seasonality is looking for the length of cycle in which to analyze. Now, to put this into some perspective, this links to the units that we have selected. So we have selected months. If I set my seasonality to 12, this is going to go and look for patterns that occur over 12-month periods. This is excellent for spotting annual trends, things that might change around Christmas time, Easter holidays, summer holidays, things like that. This data can then feed into our prediction and allow those trends to be replicated. So if I apply my seasonality of 12 points here, you can see that our prediction rapidly changes, because now it's able to spot, for example, in June 2024, as if I go back and look at June 2023, we saw a big sales dip. It's now going to start predicting similar patterns going ahead. Now, as I've only got a year's worth of data here, it is very much just kind of repeating almost the same kind of exact pattern. If you have multiple years in there, it's going to be able to be a little bit more intelligent, kind of pick some sort of average. It's very, very useful. The last option here is confidence interval. This essentially is us saying to the algorithm, the prediction going on in the background, how confident we want them to be. Now, you'll notice we have these upper bounds and lower bounds here, sort of the shaded shape around our sort of forecast line. If I'm actually less bothered about this being accurate, so I might say, right, I only really care about this being 75% sort of accurate, I suppose, we can apply that. Well, let's do 85%, for example, and it is going to alter and lower generally the difference in bounds. But that is because we're actually less confident about the prediction being done. So that is the options section. They are the ones that actually allow you to affect the algorithm and the predictions being performed. There are a few little aesthetic ones just to highlight here as well. The forecast line allows us to change the color, style, and transparency of the main line of our forecast. And the confidence band allows us to affect the actual look of the upper and lower bound sort of confidence shape that we have behind our line. The last one is just to affect what the tooltip title actually says when we hover over our prediction. By default, it is forecast 1. I might change this to sales forecast, for example, which means if I hover over any of these points, you can see that my sales forecast is 133 with the upper and lower bounds shown there. So that was a quick little look at some of the changes that we can make to our forecasts. If you'd like to know a little bit more about Power BI, please do have a look at our channel or at some of the other videos available and see what you can learn. But that is all for today. Thank you very much. This has been Bite Size Analytics. My name has been Adam Kadov, and thank you very much for watching.